You know what the
Literally,
the
it's
missile
bad.
means?
Yeah.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. You know what, guys? That was bloody awful. I just want to get straight into it because that was a waste of time. I don't want to waste any more of your guys' time because clearly you want to listen to what we have to say. Bloody awful. If it was up to me, I'd take -3 points off Chelsea, -3 points off United because that was horrible. That was the worst piece of football I've ever seen in my life. Dead. Both teams dead. Awful. Absolutely shambolic performance from both teams. I mean, if you're a Chelsea fan, you're happy with that. You know, you need to go look in the mirror, fam, because that was disgusting. Only positive is clean sheets. But I honestly think Ollie and Frank had some deal going on. They probably went to each other. Listen, one of us will lose our jobs if we lose here. So let's just kick it to each other, have a nice training session so we can be matched up for the next game. Because that was freaking stinky. Well, anyways, if you are new to the channel, please do smash the like button and please do subscribe. But gentlemen, let's get straight into it. I'm fuming. I'm absolutely fuming. Moloto, you will start with you, but your initial thoughts after that game.
It was very weird and quite an anticlimax, to be honest. I think in general it was a very lackluster game, but from Chelsea's point of view, I think Lampard has learned and he's done with the whole I attack, you counter, you end up smashing me. He's done with that, and we saw him do pretty much the same thing he did today against us in the FA Cup final. Is yes, they still hold the ball, yes, they're somewhat threatening, but then they're still very conservative, and they don't just throw everything forward and just play the expansive football they usually do, which is what they did today. And it wasn't that great, to be honest, because they didn't get much joy out of it. And towards the end, it looked like they were really playing for the draw. They were the team playing on the counter. So, yeah, I don't know if he was okay with the draw. If he was, then it worked for him. But in a weird way, I think that's better than us, because with Frank, you could actually see what they're trying to do. He was trying to play more on the counter and be more defensive. With us, it was just weird. Like, I just didn't know what we're doing. Like, in the first half, it was with Mata being included and us playing that formation. I was like, maybe we're going to play. And then there was points where it looked like we're trying to take the game to Chelsea. We're trying to press. It was supposed to look like we're sitting back one, countering. And I guess, yes, you do counter naturally in the game when you get the ball on a turnover. But it just didn't look like there was a plan, really. Second half, I thought it improved, but it was pretty much the same, really. Pogba and Cavani came on, and I felt like we just moved the ball really, really slow. Like, it just didn't seem like we had the urgency in us. And Chelsea were just okay with sitting back and countering. And we just canceled each other out, and it was a really, really boring, lackluster game, really. And I don't know, maybe Champions League, maybe tired legs, maybe that plays a part, but it was just really strange.
But there weren't even that many, like, before you go, there weren't, like, Daniel James didn't play Champions League, Marta didn't play Champions League, Maguire didn't play Champions League, Scott, I understand, Fred, understand, but oh my God. If you're a neutral fan and you watch that game, I apologize. I apologize on behalf of United and Chelsea.
Turned the ball halfway through, don't worry.
It was ridiculously bad. But yeah, Clayton, your initial thoughts after the game.
Oh, it was so bad. It feels like a prime example of going to a game with no plan. That sort of felt like we were disorganized. We had no clue what we were doing for about, say, 70 of those minutes. I think we had a solid 20 minutes of progress during that game, and that was about it. And that was 10 minutes first half, 10 minutes second half. Nothing more to really say. We were completely out this game. Chelsea looked to dominate early on, and it just wasn't a comfortable game for us whatsoever. Chelsea kept on going our throats, and they came very close on multiple occasions. So did we, admittedly, and I think that would result in a Mendy man of the match, admittedly, because the goalkeeping was amazing to keep out that Rashi scream at the end. Something like that goes in 9 out of 10 times, and we go celebrate the 1-0 and move from there. But this game, I think it's just a real showing that we look clueless tonight again. It's a step backwards from such a magnificent night in Paris. It's such a big step backwards. We showed so much of what we can do as a team, and we just threw that away today. It felt like we didn't want that progress that we made anymore.
Yeah, look, I think if we look for positives, defensively we looked really good. I think we were really organized. And
so, in all honesty,
I think we only look good because Lampard was too shit scared to go for it. I think if Burnley having the goal to go for it,
I think that did play a part.
And to defend Chelsea, they should have had a penalty. What Maguire did to Aspie in the box was,
Yeah.
oh my. If that was
Oh,
VAR, that's a penalty. That's a penalty.
Yeah,
I tell
Yeah,
Chelsea
it just
that.
came from his feet.
That's just-
Literally like this against him.
Yeah.
He went down. Like,
Like I was
that's
watching, it wasn't the classical today, and sadly Barcelona lost. But it was refreshing to see good refereeing. You know, consistent refereeing. The Premier League is just insane. Honestly, it's just ridiculous. But
yeah,
I
definitely.
don't know. I think defensively we look decent. I think Chelsea kept trying to play those over the top ball to Werner, and it just didn't work really. I think Fred and McTominay were dropping in really well and protecting the two centre backs. So yeah, and bigger picture wise, a draw is not a bad result. But if you look at the game itself, we did play quite shit. So in that sense, it's unacceptable.
100% can agree. I think that this game, in the big scale, we look back at this 10 games later, we go, no, Chelsea, that's an okay result, you know, we can take that. But right now, that was a terrible, shocking performance. We should not be playing like that. I feel like Maguire was really tested and showed why Tuanzebe should be starting in a game like this, especially against such pace. Pulisic had so much space at times, and if Werner just looked up for one split second, Pulisic scores. It's as simple as that for one of those
I
opportunities.
also think,
Maguire
yeah, I was also going to say that, early on in the game, when Maguire loves doing this thing where he brings the ball forward and he looks for some other, he thinks he's Paul Pogba, that's his thing. He thinks he's Paul Pogba. He comes forward, and then when he just gives it away, Chelsea on the attack, all of a sudden, we see that thing, Clayton, hey, Luke Shaw centre back, and now Maguire is left back because everything's just messed up. So, honestly, I'm not blaming Maguire. Obviously, he kept the clean sheet. Aerially, he was amazing today. He won most of things aerially. So I'm not going to blame Maguire today. He had an okay game. But,
You know what I think I saw today?
Where was the leadership today? Before we get on, also Ollie's smiling about that result. How are you smiling about that
Yeah, I
result?
saw that, and I can't.
You know what I
see
think?
that.
What I think we saw today. I don't think those are the right personnel for the game. I think
Exactly.
against Chelsea, you play on the counter, and I think we could have played better plays for that. But what I think I saw today is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanting to stamp authority at Old Trafford and want to say that we will play here, and we'll try to hold the ball and try play like a big team at home, and going forward, that be a thing. And I think it blew in his face really because, like I said, the personnel weren't. Yeah, I felt like we tried to do it, but I don't know if we had the right personnel to do it on the pitch, to be honest. And I feel like the way Chelsea played countered how we were trying to play.
I'll mention it when we get into the player ratings, but I'm telling you, there are 3 stinky performances today. 3. One player is very important to us, but the other 2 are just absolute joke men that have been awful for a very long time. And every time we give them ratings, it's genuinely awful. It's just genuinely awful. Let's talk about Ollie quick. Let's talk about Ollie, because if we did lose this game, you could best believe that people are going to go Ollie out, Ollie out, Ollie out. I think this result, like I said, I think Ollie and Lampard, if you want to be skeptical about it, let's just say Ollie and Lampard would be like, yeah, we're both under the spotlight. Let's just be a dead game, kick it to each other. No, nothing will happen. No one learns anything, and we'll move on with life. Ollie, with regard to Ollie, the personnel, it worked against Newcastle, but that's freaking Newcastle. It's freaking Newcastle.
It's Chelsea.
And even though we still won that game, that team was only drawing with Newcastle till we made substitutions. So how are you playing? Marta, I can understand, but how are you playing Dan James, man? Dan James. It's just I don't know. I honestly don't know. So what do you guys think about just Ollie in general today?
Yeah, no, I have questions about his selection, really, because I just find it weird because I feel like Fred and McTominay could control the midfield against Newcastle, fair, but I don't know if they can do it against Chelsea, as you said. And I think in this game, just let them play on the counter. Like, it's what we do well, play on the counter. Let them be rigid defensively. Let Fred get the ball and release it quickly like he was doing against PSG. And I think that would have worked. But I don't know. It's like he was trying to hold the ball more, and it just looked confusing. At the same time, I think for this game, I expect James for his pace. But Mata, I just didn't think the blend was good for this game, honestly. So, yeah, look, we didn't lose. I don't want to go into Ollie too much. We didn't lose. Yeah. Maybe we could have done something.
That's a sad thing, though. After today, I wanted to be like, either Ollie is going to be under real pressure now, because now we're seeing it, or we're applauding Ollie and be like, you know what, guys, this run It's looking juicy. Now I sit here and I look at Lampard and Oli, and I'm like, you guys are joking.
I think Ole tried something. He tried something, and it clearly didn't work today. So I don't want to go into him too much because it's a draw against Chelsea, it's a win against Newcastle, and a win against PSG. So points-wise, we're looking okay. Okay.
I mean,
so I just don't want this game to happen and we go downhill after this. We lose to Leipzig and going forward we lose to Arsenal, all that. So I just hope that there's not this game. But for performance itself, it wasn't great. And he substitutes as well, like the timing. I don't know why Mason Greenwood came on the last 10 minutes. I didn't agree with that. So yeah.
No, Ali's team selection was terrible in all honesty. I fully agree with what you guys had to say. I don't think he actually had a plan this game. I feel like he went, you won against Newcastle, play again, exactly the same way. Go.
I usually like to, I don't want to be Oli out, but I thought the same thing that what Clayton just said. I thought, he looked at the result against Newcastle and he was like, do it again. You guys worked the hardest for me, do it again. But it just...
To be fair though, what's wrong with that though? Because if they play the style you like, why wouldn't you want them to?
Okay, but did Daniel James play amazingly well against Newcastle? Did he?
No.
He didn't.
So that's a player who shouldn't play. Has Donny not been playing so well that he deserved to get the head of someone?
Yep.
Look, he did. He does.
He played well today, but a performance against PSG, how are you not playing Twanzig?
I get you. But it's the same thing really, because someone can say if we lose this game, you should have played the Raspberry Newcastle. So it could have been.
I wouldn't have said it.
Yeah, but someone else could have said that. That's the thing. Look,
I think it's the minority. I think it's the minority of the fan base.
James didn't
Who
play
in our fan base are like, play Daniel James. Play Daniel James.
You might say that.
Yeah, one man. There's three of us right here. You look at Mark Goldbridge, look at Flex.
I get what you're saying.
Who is playing Dan James?
I get what you're saying. But maybe Ole didn't want to play like he played against PSG. Maybe he didn't want to hold the ball more. Maybe he did feel safer with Fred and McTominay. Maybe he did feel like James has turned a corner. So I felt like he tried something and it didn't work. I don't feel like we should bash him for trying something, to be honest.
If Ole thinks Daniel James get the call, get him out now. Get him out right now. If he thinks Daniel James...
Yeah. My thing right now is I don't think he tried anything different. I seriously don't. I don't think this was a new style. I don't think this was him breaking the ground. We saw nothing different. That's my thing, my takeaway right now. We saw nothing different. So if he was trying to play this different style, where was it on the pitch?
No, not different. I'm saying he tried to replicate what we saw against Newcastle. And I just think with the conditions being Chelsea and how the game went, it just didn't work. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we're not this world beat over team that can just play the same lineup, same tactics week in, week out. That's not how it works. Newcastle is a mid-table to relegation team. It's as simple as that. We should be thrashing them 4-1 week in, week out, no matter what happens. Every single time we face Newcastle, we should be winning that fixture. Where every time we face Chelsea, who is supposedly on our level, why are we playing the exact same way that we're playing against a team that is much lesser than us? With a team that's better than us, arguably.
I just feel like there's no definite players and style we should have played. There's no obvious right way. So
I'm not saying Oli out because clearly it's not. This result works both for Oli and Lampard. We learned nothing, Oli, that you can't say Oli out. If you say Oli out after this game, I mean you're just stupid, ain't you? You just have low IQ. But I am disappointed in Oli. I'll be lying if I said I wasn't Oli. If I wasn't disappointed.
Okay, what front three would you have played that was definitely right for this game?
Well, we can't say because I would have said, like I said in the preview, I would have went with the diamond.
Rashi, Cavani, Greeny.
That's the point I'm trying to make. There's no obvious front three. Someone can argue that the way we played was the right way to play. And if we had won, people would be going, but against Newcastle, consistency is good. So I'm just saying that.
It was a big if though, because we all said, if we were told before, Ollie's going to pick the same team against Newcastle, we would have been like,
yeah,
okay.
but what are the options?
What would we have said? We would have said, if he gets it right, well done. And if he gets it wrong, not. And now my problem is not the result. It's just we sit in this like what do we do now? And we shouldn't think about it. We shouldn't think is Ollie the right man because this result doesn't mean anything. It's just I'm very disappointed with the team today.
I get you. And, okay, let's just say let's use James. If you were the worst player, would you have played Rashford on the wing?
Yes.
I would have played Diamond.
Would you play striker?
Fully. Cavani. It's as simple as that for me. Look what he did was he came off. Look at the impact that man had.
Is he
yes, clearly. He nearly
I don't
scored
think
his first
so.
touch of the football.
Then it disappeared. It just disappeared. Nah,
You know,
nah, mate.
I'm smart. I'm laughing because the irony is Malota rated him and Clayton did. Now Clayton
Yeah,
played well.
That's the
It's
same
like,
thing this man did when he came on the
personally,
pitch. He literally scored his
yeah,
first touch.
we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. You know,
I
it's all
reckon
heating
about
up.
it.
Yeah, you know, it's all heating up. But yeah, I think we can all agree that a draw in the bigger picture, when you know we had a day on it, will probably be like it was a good result against Chelsea. Right now, it is just very disappointing. I would like if fans were there, I would refund the fans. I'd be like, that was a waste of time. You know how things are going in England. You know, if you have to pay, I don't know how it works, but I think it was a box office game. But if you did have to pay £15 for that, my God, I apologize. My God.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It
Yeah.
definitely wasn't
My
worth it.
big issue right now as well is how can we go from a PSG result where we had a plan, we had a plan B. That's my issue as well with Oli right now. How can you go? We just thrashed PSG. We should have taken that game like 4 goals to 0.
It looked like
there's
there was
that
a
good
lack
of a
of
game.
passion. It did look like there was a lack of passion.
It felt like just Oli didn't have another plan
But,
again.
you know,
And it
if
was
you want
so
to be like,
unorganized.
I'm just thinking for the like, you know, the Ollie outs, the
Yes.
guys who just like being negative towards United. Who was the captain today? Where was the fire in our team today? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But that's if you just want to be skeptical. I'm playing the devil's advocate here, you know. But you know what? Let us know in the comments below everything we just said, because we're 16 minutes in and you know it's all kicked off. But you know, let's get into the player ratings. You know. But first of all, before we get into the player ratings, I want to say this. I want to end it. You guys don't give a say. Don't give a say. I don't want it to go off topic. I'm gonna say it, get off my chest. You guys, if you want to say something, keep it quick. But I'm telling you now, Frank Lampard, Timo Werner, and Kai Havertz, massive frauds. Get out. You're joking. Joking. Right, I'll leave it at that. You guys want to say anything about that? Anything?
No, let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Everyone
Let's
loves
go
Werner.
there.
You both love Werner. Everyone say anything? Nothing? Okay. very
Werner
good.
should
We
have-
There's still time.
We should have done.
There's still time.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't care. I don't wait for time. But today I was crying for Martial. I was crying. If Martial was here, I would have cried tears of joy. But we move on. Right? Goalkeeper David De Gea. I loved De Gea today, actually. Because if there was one man who looked like he was fired up and showed passion, it was David De Gea. Listen, he wasn't tested today, but he was very, very commanding. He was our captain in the back line. Maguire is such a joke, man. It's absolutely such a joke. And it's not even about his performance. It's just the way this guy conducts himself. It's like he's a walking, I don't know, he's a walking mistake waiting to happen. That's what it just looks like. But David De Gea, I'm going to keep on David De Gea. I thought it was great. Clean sheet wise, you know, he kept the clean sheet from the goalkeeper. So I'm going to give him a 7. He didn't have anything to do, but he kept the clean sheet. So 7.
Yeah, when I think of De Gea's performance just now, I realize what shit Chelsea were up front because they did absolutely nothing. They had nothing. So
That's what I'm saying. It's absolute joke, even from Lampard. If I was a Chelsea fan, I'd be fuming also.
yeah,
I would be
So I'm gonna
fuming
give him a
with my
7.
mind.
I can't blame him because he wasn't tested. So he did all the simple things right and kept a clean sheet. So 7.
Yeah, there's nothing more to add on to that. As simple as that for De Gea, not tested whatsoever. So, yeah, just a 7. Kept the clean sheets, kept us going, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Well, moving on. Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I thought he was our best player today, so he's going to be my man of the match. I thought he dealt with
Much
Chilwell. Wow.
competition
Was it
today.
Chilwell? He dealt with Chilwell. He dealt with Werner when he had to. He dealt with Pulisic when he had to. He dealt with Havertz when he had to. He did nothing wrong today. Going forward, very shaky.
Yeah.
Very shaky. I think I expected a lot more from Wan-Bissaka. But defensively, in a game that we expected to be, you know, quite pressed back quite a lot, I thought Wan-Bissaka was our best player. So I'm going to give Wan-Bissaka an 8 out of 10, man of the match.
Yeah, no, I think I have to agree. I think going forward it was decent. Defensively, I think Fred and McTominay playing really helped because he wasn't as exposed and he could do what he does best, is those tackles, and he was spot on with them. So I'm going to give him a 7.5.
Yeah, I don't think there's much wiggle room on on who our man of the match was for today. In all honesty, it's probably Wan-Bissaka. In all honesty, I don't see anybody else taking that away from him. So for me, he gets an 8. He did all the defense things right for sure.
There is one. I would say there is one.
Yeah.
So I'll get there.
Yeah.
Because Morata didn't give a man of the match. Or did you? Morata did you a man of the match also?
Yeah, 7.5.
So man of the match.
Yeah. There's no one else. There's no one else.
It just
I don't
speaks
think
about
there's
it.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong,
There's-
but I thought there was someone. But okay. I mean, okay, well, fair enough. There we go. Aaron Wan-Bissaka man of the match instantly. I do
Yeah.
think he was deserving of it, though. Obviously, I gave him man of the
Yeah.
match. Centre back pairing, Victor Lindelof. To be honest, I thought he was very good today. I thought,
Yeah.
the thing that Maguire loves doing with the going forward and driving forward and looking for something, he was very good, especially in the second half towards the end of the game. I thought, Victor, it was a lot better performance there. So actually, I'm going to give Victor a 7. I am going to give him a 7. I thought, you did very well today, Victor. I was very impressed the way you showed a lot of leadership. I thought going forward you were very good. And you're not supposed to go forward, but I'm just saying, when you're at that stage of the game, I thought you did the Maguire thing very well. So yeah, I'm gonna give you a 7, Victor. I don't think I could complain.
To be honest, I didn't see much of him, but that's not necessarily a bad thing with Victor Lindelof. So
Yeah.
maybe I was too focused on our horrible attack. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm gonna give him an average performance. So that's decent, 6.
Yeah, I think I agree more with Shoni this time. I think I saw a lot more of Lindelof than Maguire, particularly this game as well. He's probably our most vocal and out there centre back as well. It looked like he was actually trying to get stuff done a little bit more. And his drive forward is actually really good. He's actually a class dribbler, and I didn't quite realize that until this game. In all honesty. So yeah, gets this 7 from me.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Now moving on to the supposed captain, on paper captain of Manchester United, Harry Maguire. It's gonna sound mad. It's gonna sound like I have a Harry Maguire agenda. But honestly, I want my money back. I honestly don't want to see him play every week. I'm starting to get very toxic with me and Maguire because I honestly hate him. And it's not even like he did badly today. Really, he won everything. He was very commanding. But on another day, that penalty gets given my way. And I've noticed with you do that a lot. That going forward thing needs to stop because you're not Paul Pogba. You are Harry Shithead Maguire. All right? You're not my captain. From you, the captain of Manchester United, I didn't see no leadership from you. I didn't see any fire, determination, shouting. I didn't see anything from you. You kept the clean sheet, but I think you got your teammates to thank a lot for today. Really, I thought you dealt with everything. I applaud you to that. That was amazing. But I expect that of you. That's what I expect the least.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna give you an average 6.
That's the bare.
You are not my captain. I'm sorry. You are just not my captain.
Look, I think that going forward, I think he's actually pretty good at that. I think he's one of the better ones at doing that in the league. The problem is he can't recover. That's the problem. So you can't do that if you can't recover. So you losing us exposed the back. And I thought he struggled more with Werner, to be honest. And I think he coped okay. He won everything in the air, of course. So I don't know if you can really commend him for that anymore. But I'm gonna give him a 5 for that challenge. Because that was supposed to be a penalty. So I'm giving a 5.
Glad someone gave him a low rating. So
it was horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah, I don't think Maguire played particularly well. At least one of his long-range balls hit a target. That's all I'm going to say. At least one of them wasn't just giving the ball away for free. That's the only positive I can really think of for Maguire. Because Maguire, we bought him for 80 million to win those aerial battles, and he's only doing it this season, in all honesty. He has never been this commanding in the air, and bloody hell, it's about time. That's all I can say about Maguire. He needed to do this, and he needs to be doing this. That's his job. And he did the bare minimum, for sure. He 100% just did the bare minimum, and he got away with it. The main thing that I keep on seeing in my head with Maguire is when Lindelof had Timo Werner closed down, Maguire comes and helps, but actually just opens up so much space for Pulisic, and then if Werner just looks up for a split second and makes a pass, it's another goal. He nearly gave away a pen today. I think he just gets a 5 from me.
I'm glad I gave him a 6, Now I look like a nice guy now. I look like But I've noticed with Maguire, this guy, he's got no positional awareness whatsoever. The amount of times he actually bullies our own players in the box is scary. He took down McTominay in the corner when he took down SP. It looks like he wants to just run over. It's very, very clumsy defending. Again, if I was Axel, they kept a clean sheet today. And Oli will probably be like, my captain. Yeah, Maguire, you dealt with Werner. Wow. Not like Werner did anything really today. Not like Havertz really did anything. You dealt with them though. But my God, and things like that just don't help, Oli. I know there's lots of people who love Maguire in our fan base, but my goodness, our standards have dropped if you think that's a performance accepting worthy of a captain.
The thing is, you can say maybe he needs a partner who's quicker to help him. But the problem is he does other things wrong as well. It's not just pace; it's the simple things that he does wrong. So yeah, we're in a difficult position because he just doesn't seem to be good enough to be United captain one and to be a United centre back. So
Yeah.
I don't know what we're gonna do going forward because Ole seems to like this guy, and I think it's
It's
gonna
his
be
favorite player, 100%.
it's gonna be his downfall. It's gonna be his
Exactly.
downfall.
That's what I'm saying. Things like this just don't help you with the fan base. Things like this.
Yeah.
Because, how again, it's just another, it's like, we all knew Ole was going to do it. But Bruno captained that team to a victory against PSG. I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's becoming very toxic with Maguire and me personally. I think I might have a Maguire agenda, but, at least I still give him a 6. Yeah. But moving on, Luke Shaw. Obviously, Tellers, I think, was a bit injured, so that's why he wasn't even included today. But yeah, again, I thought Luke Shaw was our best going forward in terms of our defense, our fullbacks. I thought he was the best going forward. I thought defensively he is very good. He did have to he got a yellow card, but I think he had to give it away at that point. So Luke Shaw, I've got no complaints. Honestly, I've got no complaints. Reece James did give him quite a hard time, but other than that, I thought Luke Shaw did very well. So I'm gonna give him a 7.
Yeah, and I agree. I think defensively is spot on. Like you really most of the time he is, and going forward, I just know what's going on with the whole team today. So I don't think he was that great either. So I give him a 6.5.
Yeah, I can agree. I don't think we can fault Luke Shaw at all for this game. I think he did everything he could going forward and defensive-wise. I think he just gave Maguire a lot less to deal with as well. A lot less pressure on Maguire when Shaw is playing, because Shaw is a defensive fullback at the end of the day. He is there to kind of really just help out a little bit on Maguire. And he did his job today. So I think a 6.5 as well from me.
I feel like I don't want to go back to the game, but I feel like today we saw two managers who played each other so much, and they were overthinking how to win this game, and they were looking back at all those performances and were trying to analyze how to win this game, and maybe specifically looking at that game in the FA Cup semi-final because Chelsea played this exact formation and it worked.
For some reason, I actually thought that's the only thing positive I'll give about Ole at the team selection today. As I thought Lampard was going to set up with a mirror back 5 if he went for a back 5, and then I thought we were going to be in trouble. So I was happy that he didn't play.
That's under the strategy.
Yeah. So that's I give him credits there because I didn't want the back 5 today. I thought if we did play a back 5, we'd be in a lot more trouble. So it's weird you say that, but I think I do agree that Lampard would have probably predicted Ole to play a back 5.
I feel like we just don't know how to play differently because if we don't play the back 5, do you still counter them because the black 5 is for countering? Or do you press high? But we really don't know how to press high. We don't know how to play a style where we're just all over them and move the ball quickly. It's not us. So we're stuck in this weird position where we're pressing, but we're not pressing, and it just looks
our press today was horrible, by the way. Our press today was just awful. So that's again, that's very pathetic. But it is what it is. In hindsight, we're all geniuses. Who knows? If Ole played my diamond with my players, we could have won 3-0. Who knows? Werner could have done a madness. He could have. Chelsea could have. That's why I'm so disappointed. We learned nothing from this game. Nothing.
Sucky thing is Man City drew earlier.
And that's the thing. If we won today, best believe all of a sudden we win a title race. All of a sudden we win a bloody title race if we won that game. Because this league is open. It's open. Someone just needs to get consistent. It's just it's very sad. And as United fans, how can you allow that to happen? But that's a conversation for another video, another day. Clayton's gone.
Okay.
Clayton, you still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah, I'm still here, don't worry.
Okay.
Just give it a sec, I'll register up here.
Okay. But yeah, moving on to Scott McTominay. My goodness. I would love to see the pass completion percentage for Scott McTominay too. Passing wise, awful. Defensively, I thought he was a bit shaky. It just seems like everyone can beat him. No matter who you are, I think you can beat Scott McTominay if you are dribbling at him. I thought he was very clumsy on the ball today. I thought, I understand why he went for it, but again, I wouldn't have played McTominay today. McTominay took away like a Van de Beek chance, or took away, let's say, another Pogba's chance. But I'm not saying we should play that role. I don't think Pogba can play that McTominay role. But McTominay today, I thought was awful. And the amount of times he gave away the ball, and Chelsea was hitting us on the break because of that was annoying. It's like I would have clotheslined McTominay at halftime. So So I'm gonna give McTominay a 3. I thought it was very bad.
This is going to be the biggest contrast ever because I think he's in conversation for our best midfielder today, to be honest.
I know. There was one clear. One clear.
I think he started very, very slow. But then I feel like in the second half, honestly, I think he looked the most positive. I think tackles were on point. I think he looked very rugged and aggressive. So, I don't know. I'm going to give him a 7, really. I think it was pretty good in the second half. A 7.
I don't think 7 good. I think
No,
6.
6.5. 6.5.
Really like it. 7.
Yeah.
Nah.
I fully think McTominay was a bit of a 50-50 today. Like sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Like I said it in our chat as well, it felt like McTominay was the one who won back possession the most, but at the same time lost possession the most in our team. It was a very contrasting performance, in all honesty. And I feel like he had wasteful distribution as well. So I don't think there was anything too great from him today. Again, he brings the energy. That's obviously what Ollie wants right now in that midfield. He wants that energy between Fred and McTominay, and it's very clear that's what he's trying to build off of. But I don't think it's working too well anymore. I think it's starting to show its frailties the more we play against good opposition. It showed frailties against PSG, it showed frailties again today, and I think that just leaves McTominay slightly below average. I think I'd give him a 5.5.
It's weird, because I feel like it's the little things, Because I feel like if we were playing Greenwood and Martial today, and they were playing on a counter, they might have had a really good performance because they don't have to dwell on the ball that much against a team that is really organized in the midfield. So it's just such fine margins. But I feel like he's improving. I feel like with game time, he's getting slightly better.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
My issue would be why are we not playing Van de Beek, who's already the finished product?
Yeah.
Like that's my issue right now. Why are we trying to?
Where does he play though? I think. Where does he play? Especially in the way we try to play today.
I think you literally did what Ollie tried to do in the second half. You play Donny instead of Scott, but then put Bruno by Scott and Donny.
Yeah, second half.
Even that.
If you really are that bad. But in my information, anyways, I wouldn't have went with it. So Scott.
It's weird. I feel like some managers will say it's not working half time, so let me just change it and be more aggressive.
Yeah.
But maybe a manager like Ollie will say, let's give it time. Maybe it'll get better. So it's just down to how you manage it.
Again, that's Ollie the PSG game. Again, because as soon as things stopped working, Ollie was like, okay, cool. Switch formation. Let's go. Switch system. Completely switch how we play. And we didn't see any drive from the manager again today. Where was that PSG brain today?
I think he tried though with Pogba and Cavani though. He tried there.
That system was so unorganized. Like I didn't know where anybody was playing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pogba was playing that 10, he was playing left wing, he's playing right wing. Cavani was playing right wing, left wing, Cam. Bruno was nowhere as soon as that happened. I don't know what changed, but everything was changed.
Those substitutions killed it.
Yeah. I feel like we weren't moving the ball quick enough. Yes, there was one organized.
It wasn't good. It's just what it is. It wasn't good. It wasn't
effectively for not organized. But can you blame the manager for that? It just seemed like the players were so slow on the
should
ball.
be done by the manager.
No, yeah, I get that. But then into the how
organized against PSG. So much more organized against PSG. He had a clear formation. Idea.
You know what? Ollie was smiling today, so clearly he's happy about that performance. He clearly instructed for them to be dead. Clearly, because if Ollie had another game plan and he was like, bloody hell, we should have won that, I would have been pissed off. Ollie is there smiling, shaking hands, clapping the boys. Oh my god, it makes me sick, honestly.
Honestly, I feel like he brought Pogba on to try to get them to be more aggressive, and it just didn't happen. And I don't know why that is. It just didn't click.
Even that though, why didn't you bring on Donny? You said it yourself, Pogba's, he's not good enough. Again, if I'm Donny, I'm fuming also again. I'm like, what do I have to do to get in this team? I want to go back to Ajax. I'm getting
the cameraman should have shot of him, and he just looked so sad. And I just felt so sorry for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what do I have to do?
It's ridiculous.
But hey, it's a long season, so I guess he'll play eventually.
I'm just disappointed with the results. I want something out of this. But we move on to actually my other guy who I thought was very contender of man of the match, because Pastor Fred. Oh, guys, we have an N'Golo Kante. We've got N'Golo Kante. This man, defensively, CDM, won everything. Tackling, everything won. Distribution, he was the guy to put off pressure in our midfield. Bruno didn't do it. No one else did it. Fred took it upon himself to when we had to move the ball out quickly and actually give it to someone. He was the man. He was the guy who I said is knocking on that first team door and deserves to play in our first team. So you know what, pass to Fred. I'm going to give him an 8 as well, but I think Wan-Bissaka was just better, so he was my man of the match. But I'm going to give pass to Fred an 8. Honestly, I'm so happy with Fred playing, and I just love what he does. This guy never stops. Never stops.
Contrasting views, because I thought he wasn't that good today. I thought it was a massive step down from PSG. Felt like he was missing a lot of tackles. I felt like when he had the ball, he wasn't releasing it as quick as he was against PSG. He was dwelling on it so much, and it just did not look a great performance to me, really. And I'm going to give him a 6.
Yeah, I agree more with Malota today as well. I think Fred was a bit of a letdown today. We've seen what Fred can do when Fred is actually playing the game, which I don't think we saw that much today. I think maybe the first half we saw a lot more of it, but second half I felt like it was all McTominay and Fred was kind of just somewhere that wasn't on the ball at any given point. But he's always a clean tackler. I can't really fault too much, but I think he should have done a lot better today, especially from what we've seen of him going forward, especially what we've seen of him defensively. I think we deserve to see a better Fred, but he does deserve to be starting right now. His form does definitely dictate that. But after a game like today, I don't quite see it as much today. So I think he just gets an average 6 from me as well.
It's like this team has a mental block to winning. Whenever the opportunities are wide open to go up the table and make considerable progress, we just seem to come up with something to earn it, and it's so annoying.
Yeah, it is.
2 steps forward, 1 step back. Could have been 2 steps back, and then Ollie's all of a sudden, you know, it's on the ropes again. Yeah. Or it could have been 3 points lost, Ollie's done, out of the danger zone. We move, Ollie's the man for the job. But you know, that's why that's why I hate this so much, because one of these managers should have been put to hang. One of these managers should have been put to hang today.
Yeah.
But it's just it's horrible. It's actually horrible. I'd be saying the same thing if I was a Chelsea fan, by the way. I think you guys, like I said, you guys shouldn't be happy about that. You know, but you know, we move to Bruno Fernandes. You know, the actual captain. I thought very disappointing. This is the first time for a long time that, you know, well, obviously, you know, Bruno's standing. This guy gets a goal or assist, even if he's playing badly. You know, he does something. Today, I thought he was definitely our only creative outlet. I think, you know, Bruno still, he never stopped going. But today, I think the people around him, you know, the Mata, the Rashford, the James, Fred and McTominay behind, I think those players let him down big time today. And I thought Bruno today was at fault for the system. We worked against Newcastle, but again, that's Newcastle. I think Chelsea knew, listen, Bruno's the only guy there to do something. Close him out. And I felt like Chelsea did very well with that. You know, just, you know, denying Bruno stuff. I think majority of our creative stuff still came from Bruno, but it wasn't his best game, so I'm going to give Bruno a 6.
Yeah. Look, I feel like, as Shinny says, a lot of things did go to him because they have to. Like, they can't go to anyone else. But to be honest, I do think it was a bit flat. I didn't see what he was doing, especially in the second half, really. So, yeah, not one of his best performances. And as you said, the system as well didn't help. So I'm going to give him a 6 as well.
Yeah, I definitely think we saw the best of him in the first half. We saw that kind of passion. We saw that drive to win. But it was very, very brief in the span of 90 minutes. It wasn't enough. And yeah, I think maybe Europe took its toll a little bit, maybe a bit burnt out from it.
I think that's also a good part.
Yeah, but he got marked out of the park in the second half of the game. It felt like he was playing wildly out of position at moments. It just didn't look comfortable for him in the second half and going forward past that first 45 minutes. So I think Bruno just was definitely a victim of the system today, and it did not benefit him whatsoever. So I think an average 6 today as well.
I mean, is it not the first time that these players are playing twice a week at the highest level this season?
No, it isn't. It definitely is.
Isn't it?
It can't
this season.
It can't be this season.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we've definitely had a short turnover before. Definitely.
I mean, like
last season.
No, I mean this season, with all the questions around fitness, is the first time that there's European football and league football on the weekend. So yeah, I might be fishing. I'm just saying, maybe that played a part.
Yeah, I don't think that's a valid excuse now.
Even then, if like Bruno was tired, like Donny is still good enough to take.
Yeah, why is he not?
True. Why did we buy him?
This just goes back to Donny. If I'm Donny, I'm crying. I'm going home. I'm crying. I'm like, you know, I'm wasting.
You can see his face whenever he's just wasted on the bench. You can
just
see
Donny's face will make you cry as a United fan. It'll actually make you cry when the camera pans to Donny and he's sitting there with this thing. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
god.
It's funny though because I feel like if Ole had dropped Bruno today, the fan base would go mad. So
No, but then you tell, you let it know, like, listen, Bruno might be he might be tired. He obviously played it well against PSG. I
Like,
want
you
to
have the
rest.
interviews for a reason.
You the
have-
manager, you're supposed to do squad rotation. You're telling me don't, and Donny, the way he's performing, it's not like he's been shit. It's not like we have Lingard or Pereira playing instead of Bruno now. It's freaking Donny van de Beek.
I don't know. I feel like if you play Donny,
Listen, I understand. I'm not shouting Oli for not dropping Bruno. You can't drop a player like Bruno. But like,
Yeah.
if Bruno was
I'm
tired,
saying that's the excuse. Yeah.
yeah, if that's the excuse. If all of a sudden
The
being Tuesday and then
excuse is
Saturday,
fatigue.
it's quick turnaround. You had Donny. There was no excuse. Heck, you could have
Yeah.
played Pogba
Yeah.
in 10. There's no excuse then. There's no bloody excuse. There's nowhere to hide for Oli. There isn't. You will be exposed. If you want to get exposed, you will get exposed in this round of fixtures. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
But, moving on to our right winger, Juan Mata. And see, like this one here, I was disappointed with. But I stand by on it. I'm like, fair play. Mata played very well against Newcastle. I think he'll be a bit too slow for Chelsea. But I can understand why he picked him. Mata has been creative.
Yep.
He has been doing very well. So I think today just showed again. Mata, he can do a job now and then, but for long term and future, he's just not the guy. Like today, what did Mata do? What did Mata do today? Absolutely nothing. He did nothing. He actually did nothing. He didn't even play smart balls. It didn't even look like the crossing was working. The 1-2s. I think if you had maybe Donny with him also again, another reason we've seen how well Donny and Mata work. Quick 1-2s. There's a lot of creativity, but I think that and Mata had to track back, and he was never tracking back. He was just too slow. So very disappointed with Mata. I don't blame Oli for picking him, but very disappointed. So I'm just gonna give Mata a 5.
Yeah, no, it wasn't great, and I feel like it goes back to the system as well. Like, what are we doing? Are we holding the ball? Are we controlling the midfield? And if we're doing that, Matt's is top class. But like, I don't know. Like, the system was just so broken today. So I feel like that played a part. And it's one matter. He's not. We know he's not the quickest, and we know maybe you can't play at this level that consistently anymore. So yeah, I'm gonna give him a 5 as well. Didn't see what he did really, what he offered.
Yeah, I feel like the right-hand side battle was purely Chilwell and Wan-Bissaka, and that was it. I didn't see Mata after like the first 20 minutes. After that, I don't think he played. It generally felt like we didn't have any wingers throughout that entire game. It was... It's definitely them being a victim of the system again. Because Mata, if he is played in the right system, the system that works with him, then you can see the best from him. That's what we saw against Newcastle. That's what we've been seeing from him whenever we play him. Because that's what gets him the man of the matches whenever he plays. But when we play a system that doesn't accommodate for a lack of pace, doesn't actually accommodate for him not actually being a good right winger, because he cuts in all the time. He was cutting in as much as possible. He was basically playing that 10 with Bruno. Like, you can't really fault him when that's his natural position, when he's not being played correctly, I guess, is for lack of a better term. It's again a victim of the system, and the system just didn't work whatsoever tonight. So he gets just he was non-existent. So probably a 5.5, just below average again.
I think I agree with that. I agree with what both of you said. I do think unfortunate for Mata. It's not Mata's fault, and I don't blame Oli. I don't think it's Oli's fault either, because and if there was one player I understood, it was Juan Mata. I said even if I see Mata, I won't be mad. So, but it it is what it is. It was just awful performance. Speaking of awful performances, there's 2 more awful performances. We'll start off with Marcus Rashford. Now, yeah. I'm gonna last before I kill him. But yeah, you guys can go.
Yeah, no, I feel like back to goal, it's just he's staying really. I feel like you're going to get the best out of him as a striker. You must play long balls and ask him to run on them, and that's what Marcus Rashford can do. But if you're not going to do that, then you just don't get much from him. You'd rather play him on the wing so you can run at players. So I feel like that played a part, but he had a few decent shots, and just how the transition was in general didn't help him. So I'll give him a 6, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what Shoney's doing, don't worry. We're prepared for it. We're all prepared for it. Anybody who watches the show knows what Shoney's about to do, don't worry. But I don't think Marcus Rashford had a bad game today. I don't think he was at fault at all. Again, he's being employed out of system. out of position, sorry, in the system right now. He's been forced to play as a striker right now. We've seen it doesn't work. We've seen he's more natural on the left. He's a lot more comfortable cutting inside constantly. And we saw that today again. But that's what left us feeling like we weren't playing with a striker until Cavani came on. But even then, it was still just a mess. But yeah, I don't think Rashford had a bad game. I think he had lots of shots. I think he tried to create his own chances a lot of the time. And I think he should have walked away with something from this game, but it just wasn't to be with Mendy's really class goalkeeping. So I think Rashford 6.5.
Okay, fair. But I'm gonna touch on it. With Rashford, not that any of you know, but basically I play Football Manager with Clayton, and I have a player called Rafinha. He plays for Leeds actually. He's a winger for Leeds, and Rafinha for me is either this amazing player on his day, or he's just awful. He's very hot and cold. He either does a wonder, or he's the worst player on the pitch. Now I'm not saying Rashford was the worst player on the pitch because he wasn't, but things I always say about Rashford: decision making. Just mainly decision making. You should, and the chances he had today, 1-on-1 with Mendy, that should have been a goal. I think if it was Greenwood, I think it was Martial, I think it was Cavani even, that was a goal. I think the shot on another day, Mendy doesn't make that save, and that's a brilliant curling effort, and we're singing Marcus Rashford's praises again. I always say that. I said it against PSG. I said, Marcus Rashford didn't get that goal against PSG, I was going to give him a 4. And for that reason, I felt it was the same against today, and I'm going to give Marcus Rashford a 4. I mean, another day you get the goal, I'm giving you a 7 because you want the winning goal. But, oh my God, Rashford. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I just don't know. That's why I love Martial. The decision-making for Martial is always on point. From Rashford, it's you never know. You never know what you're going to get with Rashford.
I guess just a lucky draw.
You put your hand in the hat, 10 out of 10, or it's going to be 0. So that's what it feels like with me and Rashford. There's no balance yet. There's no it does the simple things right, because even the passing are shocking. It just Rashford with my boy. You need to just sit today's out there. But
I don't know.
The worst player.
I feel like he is just that type of player. He's not a really systematic player.
No,
I feel
that's
like,
what I'm saying.
I feel like he'd struggle. I will make an example with what's his name again, Riyad Mahrez. I think Riyad Mahrez at Leicester was amazing because he's a flair player and he'd be called the wizard with the magical left foot. At Man City, he struggles with that because he has to play in this very strict structure, and he seems to struggle to find the balance between being a fair player and playing within the structure. So I just think he's just one of those players.
Yeah, no, I think he is. Like I said, I think Rashford is very hot, or he's ass. That's just the way I feel. There's no in between. There's no way I can be like, Rashford, he tried creating, he set up a tap in, they missed it, it wasn't Rashford's fault. It's never that. This guy, he's either Ronaldo or he's not Ronaldo. He's Marcus Rashford. I don't like calling him. I'm not saying he is, but that's just what it is. But he was by far not the worst player on the pitch because Daniel James, my goodness.
He's back. Running the
How? I was just sitting back today and thinking, how this man wears the United shirts? Like, honestly, why can't I wear United shit on that level? If that's what it takes to be a professional footballer, what can I be? I mean, I'll get way more assists than Daniel James, that's for sure. I'll making these retarded darting around. This guy has no brain. I'm sorry, James. If you're listening, you have no brain, my boy. You are dumb. You are one of the dumbest footballers I've ever seen. You are dumb, fam. Dumb. I'm giving you 0, fam. We played with 10 men today. Yes. Awful. Yeah. I hate James. I actually despise him. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Look, I can't tell you much because I don't know much of what he did today. I just don't know what he did today. I don't know what he offered. The only thing I can tell you is the bad thing that he holds onto the ball too long. And sometimes when he has to pass the ball, he thinks he's a MacGyver and he'll try running the ball.
Even when we have the ball and James open, we don't want to give it to him. We're like,
I noticed that, yeah. I'll just pass to someone else. Cause I guess
it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah, so 0. I can't argue with that.
Honestly, besides pace, pace becomes irrelevant when you can't do anything with it. What does he do for us? What does he actually give us as Manchester United? Mrs. Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the world, if not the biggest, and we have a player like Daniel James.
He just needs to learn to pass the ball, I think.
But even that.
That's simple.
We'll blame Oli now. Because now it's that's Oli's fault.
I'm not going to do that. I feel like He needs to simplify his game because he just don't have it, dude. You're not that skillful player. Just run and pass the ball when there's space.
Honestly,
not rocket
to put it
science.
blunt, I don't think he's a footballer. I honestly don't. I think he was a sprinter in high school and he got lucky. He won the raffle and now he's at United. That's what I think he is. He's a championship player. That's his level. Honestly, that's his level. Zero.
I feel like James is turning to the new Lingard.
Yeah. In fact, I'd rather have Lingard because at least Lingard can pass. This guy can't do anything.
Exactly. Lingard offered something. That's a big difference. That's all I can say. Lingard at least offered energy in the midfield. He at least tried to move the ball. What this man has done is nothing. He's literally done nothing for games and games and games and games. Ever since after his fifth game in a United shirt, he stopped doing anything for us, and he just fell off a cliff. Dan James looked so promising, and now I didn't even see him run today. In all honesty, I didn't even see this man use his pace. I literally saw
Like he
nothing.
said, it doesn't even
Today
seem
I
like he's
saw
fast.
nothing.
It doesn't even seem like he's fast anymore.
It doesn't even look like he's trying to beat a man. It doesn't look like he's trying to do anything. It just looks like he occupies space, and that's his job.
Yeah.
I'm
He's
gonna
using up
I guess-
oxygen.
That's down to the system. If there's space to run, then he'll run. But if it's very
But then even
congested,
if- you know what?
What's the
I would
ball like?
love to play against Daniel James. I would literally be like, go run, and then what you can do when he's at the end. He doesn't put a pass in. He doesn't do a skill and beat him, and he doesn't shoot. He just loses the ball. He'll run it out.
Yeah.
That's what he do. That's all he does. It's like he's a bot who just is programmed to run forward, and then he'll either run into the wall or the sponsor board or a player. That's all he's good for. He sold us the biggest dream. And if you know what, I wish that loan move for Daniel James went. Because if there is any hope, if you need, I don't know, an exorcism, if that's what they call it, or you need Jesus, the only Jesus you have is Bielsa. The only way I feel like you become a quality player is if you went to Bielsa, because there is only him who can fix them.
Yeah,
I don't even
exactly.
back Poch. That is just how you a footballer, mate. Honestly, I don't know.
I feel like
Honestly.
he'll only ever work really unless he improves the technical side of his game. He'll only ever work in games like Man City and Liverpool because they'll give him acres of space to run, and that's his thing. But besides that, he's just got nothing.
So why was he chosen today, Malota?
That's exactly why was he chosen?
One, lack of options, and two, I assume Ole Chelsea.
We're two foot strikers on the bench.
No.
Let's drop
They're telling me Mason Greenwood can't
Get
do even a better job at left wing than Daniel James. Paul Pogba out of position. Great
I guess, but then
Donny Van de Beek, and we
True,
always
but-
go back to Donny.
Marcus Rashford.
Marcus
Can
Rashford, and Cavani.
Seconds.
Can Greenwood start though? Can he start though? Because what's been going on with him, he hasn't been playing.
Nah,
It's not clear though. What Cavani has,
it's been-
I feel like Cavani couldn't start as well. I feel like if he could, he would have.
Listen, like I said, I think today was tight margins. If Oli got it right, he would have been like, he sat us down, he RKO'd us. He's a tactical genius,
good.
clearly. But now, it shows where his problems are. His
I thought
flaws
he
are.
was going to. Yeah, I really thought he was going to.
Yeah,
help that PSG.
that's the thing. We always fall in the trap as United fans. No, there's hope.
Yeah.
Clearly. Like, when you, as a United fan, when you feel good about a game, just know it's not going to go good. Because when you don't feel good, all of a sudden, results come out of the bag. So I'm just not. It's just the hope.
Okay,
the hope.
what's been going on with Greenwood? Why hasn't he been playing? Is it an injury?
Oli says injury. Media says behavior.
Okay. So let's say it is an injury. He can't start. Cavani can't start. What on earth should Oli do if he
I
wants to
got
play a
two
4-2-3-1?
world-class players on the bench. I got two world-class players on the bench. I got Donny and I still got Pogba. You're telling me those men can't do a better job at that position than him?
Who?
Pogba or Donny Van de
That's the
Beek.
thing. If you want to play in that system, I don't think it's though. That's the thing.
You
If you want to play in that
we
system.
played that system, and we had Pogba and Donny playing in that system, they wouldn't have put a better performance than 0. We would have given Pogba and Donny 0.
They might have because it's Dan James.
Ah,
It's Dan James, but clearly Oli doesn't see it that way because he wants to play with the system and with quick out. Obviously, won't be as quick on the other side. Maybe that's Oli's thinking. I don't think Oli
No. There's no way in hell that was his thinking. There's no way in hell that was his thinking.
wants to play Pogba on the wing. But what other reason do you play Dan James then instead of him being
No,
a quick
because-
outlet? There is
So, the only reason that I say there's no way in hell Dan James is picked because Ollie wants to run in behind is because Dan James is making 10-meter sprints. If he was sprinting around like a madman, I would have been, okay, sure. That's him wanting to play in this certain system. It's him wanting to play those long balls. There was nothing There was absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Dan James
Okay.
was
Fair.
avoided. He was like a
Fair.
cancer to this team. He was avoided.
Fair.
Nobody
Fair.
wanted to pass to him.
Let's
Why
just
did he
say.
not?
Let's just say Chelsea play a 4-3-3 and that's very high pressing. Do you not think James would have been more effective in this game?
But now we're talking about ifs.
Oh.
There was no ifs.
Yeah, I'm trying to
I
get
said
into all
no.
his thinking
Yeah.
and why he was picked.
I'll
No,
tell you what
I-
all his thinking was. I'll be blunt with you. You thinking Newcastle is like the boys are feeling good. These boys, they played
Yeah.
well from Newcastle. Do the same against Chelsea. Honest, it sounds bad. And again, like I said, if Oli won the game, we're all saying clearly he knows
True,
something.
True. I
But-
feel like he appreciates the work rate as well. And that's not
There
completely
was
a
no
bad
work
way to
rate
look at
again.
things.
But
I
that's the
get
thing.
you.
Like,
No. I'm not saying what happened in the game. I'm trying to get into Oli's thinking and why he might have picked such a system and such players.
You know,
There's
like I
no
said,
thinking.
I stand
all I
by
can
it.
say.
It's like, yeah, I can. There's no thinking when it comes to Daniel James. Honestly.
Not Dan James. Dan James.
Nah, you can't say that, guys.
Not
Nah, you can't say
Yeah,
that. That's
I
a bit
know.
harsh.
Nah.
Dan James offers pace. Pace is something, and it can work.
Okay,
at
but did
certain
he do pace today? Be honest, did he do pace today?
He didn't, yes, but you can't say there's no thinking though. You can't say that because
If there was
what Ole's
thinking, he would
looking
have
at,
tried to use the pace.
Oh
That's
yeah,
the thing.
there was thinking,
I'm
but it
talking
was
from
minimal.
the point of view of Ole. Nah,
Then how
I think
long
you guys
have
have
you
been
watched
watching.
James? How long have you been watching Daniel James?
I'm not defending James. I'm defending Ole here. I'm not interested in defending James here. He's horrible.
I can't defend Oli with Daniel James. When he does things like
Yeah,
this,
but
I can't.
that's the thing. If somebody is consistently going and burning your food and giving it to you on a plate, are you going to be like, thanks, and just keep on taking it and be like, what is their thinking that they're going to burn this food today?
Ole's
I
very
don't
loyal.
know. Maybe I'll get into the chef's
How
mind.
why now? Ole is very loyal. Ole is loyal to having seen the best of the player and trying to get it out of them. That's the type of manager Ole is.
But I think that's yeah.
Games.
I
That's
think
it.
there's like I'm not trying to attack Moloto. Obviously, Moloto's just
Yeah.
trying to understand Oli. It's not Moloto. It's not Moloto saying he likes Daniel
Yeah.
James, but he's trying to get in the
Yeah,
head. So I am
not Moloto.
don't attack Moloto
Yeah.
in the comments because I feel like there's lots of United fans. If they're watching this, they're gonna be like, "What is Moloto? What?" Are you talking about?" No, it's just Moloto. But
Just trying to
that's again, the majority of the
But
fan
this
base will look at that
don't
and be like, "You see, like Oli, things like that." It's just. It's not even like you had a masterclass against Newcastle, James. The last genuine good game, he wasn't bad. I think we gave Daniel James a 6 last week for Newcastle, and that's the highest we've given him since his debut. I mean, that just says it all. That says it all about Daniel James. It does. I don't think
Yeah.
it's like Ollie's hoping for a miracle, and he's expecting a different result. What's that saying? I forgot. The saying about you do the same things,
the
and
same
try to expect a different result.
Yeah.
Einstein, yeah.
Yeah, I
Same thing
understand.
over. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's time.
Especially against
Look,
Chelsea.
there's clearly problems with Marcus. There's clearly problems with Mason Greenwood. So he couldn't play.
I would have
Ole
thought
clearly
of
doesn't want
Lingard.
to play. Lingard's injured, if I'm not mistaken. From what I heard on the Premier League, Lingard's injured.
Yeah.
Clearly doesn't want to play a Van der Beek or Pogba on the wing. As a
But
manager,
that's
he
so
has.
bad.
He
You know
has
how
his
bad that sounds, though.
principles.
You know how
Yeah.
bad that sounds on Oli. Even
He has
if you
principles.
the thing about it, if you were a Chelsea fan today, you'd be laughing if you seen Daniel James. Like James. If you seen Pogba or Van der Beek, you'd be like, oh, okay, now.
the wing,
that's-
though.
You took about research,
No, on
I
the
guess.
wing,
You
you
took
could-
about I guess.
Yeah, that's the
That-
only
that's
James
who's-
today on the field. Reece
Yeah,
James is the only
literally.
James today on the field. Hey, Daniel, son. I applaud Daniel. The one thing I applaud Daniel James is how he convinced his people he's a footballer and how he convinced he's good enough for United. I applaud it. I wish I was in your position, boy. I wish I could be earning £100,000 a week for doing nothing. That's literally just standing there. I wish I could. I really wish I could. By all means, you're a
Look,
genius.
I feel like that pace can come in handy somewhere down the line if he improves his IQ and the technical side of his football. But he's not ready to play for United right now. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, it's not. And that's what I said. I said if that loan move went to Bielsa, I think we would be seeing a very, very good Daniel James. I think we could see something. Because we've seen Bielsa, he does it to players. He has his whole managerial career is about turning these very below subpar players into very smart, intelligent. Look at Patrick Bamford. He was considered he'll never be a Premier League striker. But his thinking and his football IQ now at this level and the system that allows a player like Bamford to thrive is amazing. Again, now I'm speaking about Bielsa again. Now it looks bad on Oli again, because why if Bielsa can do it, why can't Oli do it? like Bielsa's managing Leeds, Ollie's managing Manchester United. So yeah, but yeah.
That one can say that's harsh though. I don't want to go too off topic, but Ole has improved Rashford. Maybe not in the way most people think, but he scored 20 goals last
No,
season.
I'm not saying
Ole's
Ollie can't do it, but
Yeah.
we're speaking about James, which is a very that's a different case. Rashford, he's a talented footballer. I'm not saying Ollie can't do it, but I think this is a bit out of Ollie's league to completely get a dead baller and do something with him.
Who can do that though? Who can
Yeah.
genuinely do that? I don't know. He also won't give James IQ. He won't give him football IQ. I'm sorry. James might grow, might get older, and naturally develop in that side of the game.
I see what Bielsa has done to freaking Patrick Bamford. Bamford's a dead baller, but this man's scoring hat tricks every week. This guy's scoring hat tricks. Well, last week he scored a hat trick. Well, no, right? Yesterday, Monday he scored.
Yes.
Friday he scored a hat trick. Bielsa, I'm not saying about it, but who is Bielsa's, proteges as managers? Mauricio Pochettino, Pep Guardiola. Considered two best tacticians. He coached them up. He gave them some intelligence. He's a very intelligent man, Bielsa.
I guess, but Ole was
Like if you had to give a test to Bielsa and Ollie,
he understands the position. What can Ole give James that he can clearly give Rashford and Martial?
but James isn't a striker. He's a winger.
Yeah, but then as a striker, you need that technical side, that passing and that scoring, and that's what James needs right now. So why is it very clear that Ole's giving that to Rashford and Martial, but we say he could to James?
Yeah.
I don't know. The point I'm trying to make is it's just not that clear. I think he has. I think he's improved Rashford and Martial.
I think he has, but I think that
I'm saying
what I'm
not those
saying is,
attributes specifically, like that you're comparing to Dan James. That's what I'm saying. Not that way.
I'm saying all he does, he has clearly
You don't think
improved
so?
players. But I think he's improved those players because they're very much more talented than Daniel James. I'm saying it is. I can't prove it, but I would, in my head, logically, it's easier to improve people like Greenwood.
Yeah.
It's easier to improve
So what's
people
Bielsa
like
going to do though? Is he going to inject some talent into Dan James? I don't know. I feel like
I think
I way too much on Bielsa as well.
No, because I think when, like a Bielsa specifically, he'll drill you non-stop. He'll make you understand your role till the day is done. He'll make you understand your role perfectly, what you need to be doing in every situation.
Okay.
Look how Leeds plays. They are the most well-drilled team in the league. Bar Liverpool, that team is drilled to the core.
And that's how you can get the best out of a player.
Okay,
if they understand the role, that teaches them football IQ.
Fair. Maybe Bielsa has a clearer system in how they play it genuinely as a team.
And he's very adaptable.
James
directly. Don't sleep on Bielsa. Like he's a very, very adaptable manager as well. Tactician-wise, he's probably the best in the game. Pep has said it. Someone you love, Moloto. You love Pep Guardiola. And if you ask him who's the best manager, he'll tell you Marcelo Bielsa.
It's weird. It's not that clear, because Mario has gotten worse on the Pep. And
yeah, but I don't rate Pep. I don't rate Pep. I rate Bielsa.
I don't even think so as well. I think Mario's been fantastic on the Pep. He just hasn't played enough. He just hasn't played enough. That's the issue. Pep doesn't like playing him. Pep doesn't like playing Mahrez. Mahrez gets goals and assists every other week still.
This season and the end of last year, I think Mahrez is playing a lot on that right wing. It seems like he's the main right wing now, and I feel like he hasn't been
He was getting goals and assists last season again.
He's scoring, but not the Mahrez not PFA player Mahrez at Leicester City. So I'm saying he's gotten worse.
I wouldn't say it's system. That's purely down to system. You can't be the star player with Raheem Sterling, Sergio Aguero, Kevin De Bruyne, week in, week out. At Leicester, you can. At Leicester, you can put in those star-studded performances.
But the point I'm trying to make is that he hasn't improved. He's gotten worse. The fact that he has gotten worse on the Pep.
I think it's the same player.
It's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee that players will get better when they go to another manager. I mean,
it's not
factually.
But I think
definitely not guaranteed.
There was a chance for Daniel James to improve as a footballer. I think that loan move to Leeds would have been absolutely fantastic. I think the knowledge he would have got, because it's not even Ollie's fault. It's not like I'm not saying Ollie can't improve James, but also again, does Ollie have the time to do it? Famous words from Marcus. Marcus would say, "Why should Ollie be telling Daniel James how to kick a ball at Manchester United? Why should Ollie be doing that? Honestly, Bielsa has time. He has time. They're a lesser team, with all due respect, but that's what I'm saying. So I think honestly, I wished if there was one loan move in my life that I wish worked was Daniel James to Leeds. I would have loved to see James under Bielsa, you know, because I think Bielsa would have given him more time. I think you'd be more understanding. I'd be like, listen, I think you'd have drilled Daniel James into like, you know, like you're just giving him so much knowledge. Ollie's still a young manager, you know, still a learning manager. Bielsa has been in this game. He's been managing. So, you know, it's down to opinion, but you know.
Turn into that, but he's not there yet, for sure.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Ollie. He's getting there. He's definitely improved certain players in certain aspects, but he's not going to wholeheartedly go and do a 360 and teach Dan James how to bloody play football to the highest level.
What I'll say is that I feel like, sorry for interrupting you. I feel like maybe some players just work better in a clear system, as Clayton says. Some players work better if you tell them to do this, pass this, and it be a routine. And some players are more flair players, and it just depends on the player, really. So, like I'm saying, maybe Pep could improve with Dan James in that sense, but he can't improve Mahrez in that sense. So,
you know what I think when it comes down to, I think like, you know, like when we look at Dan James specifically, you know, when Dan James is on the ball, right, and let's say we have Luke Shaw right next to him. Luke Shaw will make the overlap run, but Daniel James won't give it. There'll be a man on the edge of the box, Daniel James won't give it. Run into a player, you'll lose the ball, right? But now I think Ollie would be thinking, bruh, why must I tell you to pass to a free man who's overlapping to put in a cross? Why must I tell you to pass to Bruno's on the edge of the box, clearly to have a shot? But I think if he was under Bielsa, you know, because Bielsa doesn't have to do these things, and I think, you know, the level of management is different when you're managing United and when you're managing Leeds. I think Bielsa will tell him, because he'll be like, listen, Dan, because there's a classic video of Marcelo Bielsa saying that he's coaching his players that, you know what, if you have the ball in this area, you have one player here, look at the numbers around him. Bielsa is the type of player. He'll be like, clearly, look, you have a situation, two defenders are on you, you have an overlapper, you have an edge of the box. Make one of those passes. Don't, you know, and he'll show you, like last week you did this, you ran into them, the ball didn't go in. Marcelo Bielsa will tell you, like, if you made the overlapping run, look at the space, look at the cross that can come in, or if you gave it square to Bruno, he's on the edge of the box, all of a sudden, you've taken out two men with one ball, and Bruno's free to have a shot. I think Bielsa can do that, and, you know, you probably have more time to do that for Ken. Ollie shouldn't be happy to do that. I do like, why must Ollie at Manchester United tell you, make the overlap run? I mean, Ollie should do it, but like, come on.
I feel like there's no way in a team at United aren't telling Dan James to improve on the problem. But I feel like managers like Pep and Bielsa do it differently. They work on their system of play intensely and over and over. And so when the Man City players play, it's like they know where every player is, and they work on these patterns over and over and over again in training, and basically just replicate that on the field. Ole's not that type of manager, so in that sense, I guess maybe
it's a bad reflection. Because if I was a Real fan, or if I was just, you know, a proper Ollie out, I think it reflects bad on Ollie still. Then, like,
I don't know, it's just different styles of management.
We're so deluded. Like, Real fans, my dad laughs at me every day because Ollie's the manager. You know, Real fans are there, like, yeah, no, you keep Ollie. He's doing wonders. Because obviously they know, like, if we had to get a Poch or a Bielsa on paper, it's like, okay, now, you know, that's a better manager. On paper, it's a better manager. I'm not trying to disrespect Ollie, but I'm saying he needs to pull his socks up. I don't
want to go too deep in this conversation, but Ollie finished third.
No, yeah, exactly, it is. But we would again, you know, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to turn this into an Ollie, you know, out show. But some could say, where would Bielsa finish with this United team?
Yeah.
Because I think it would be very scary. Exactly. I can't prove it either. I would love to say he finished first. I can't prove it.
I might say with his very intense, high pressing style, we would leak goals. We'd be like
Liverpool,
we're hitting 50 without Van Dijk.
Yeah, so I don't want to turn it into that. I'm just saying it's very interesting, and that's where Ollie Outers thrive, because they'll be like, Ollie's a joke, man. You know, like if I was Ollie Outer, I'd be like, he's a PE teacher. You know, I mean, we have managers like Pep, we have managers like Poch, you know, and you know, playing Dan James in a Chelsea game doesn't help yourself. You didn't. It's a negative for me. Thumbs up. When I seen Daniel James today, I was like, God. Even if you played the Newcastle team, you're telling me there wasn't room for improvement. And you're telling me Dan James is honestly the guy to go for this game. That's horrible decision making, personally. And I think, you know, the majority of the United fan base will think, what are you doing, fam? Obviously, he wins. He proves everyone wrong, like the Newcastle game. We all seen the lineup. He proved us wrong. We're like, okay, fair play. But then when you look deeper into it, when did that result improve? When James and them came off, Pogba, Donny came on. Then all of a sudden, we have different Manchester United. But, you know, that's just my 2 cents. I think this was the most we've ever talked about tactically, because honestly, we just fed up with the result. Paul Pogba, you know, just a quick bench. People came off the bench. Paul Pogba, I'm giving a 5. I'm very disappointed in Paul Pogba. I can't tell you how much it breaks my heart to see a player I love so much, not performing in a United shirt. So I'm giving Pogba a 5. Cavani, my God, you could have had a fantasy strike with that first touch. But then after that, it just shows, in United system, like Malota loves the classic number 9, but it shows you in our system, what Cavani and Harry Kane ain't doing anything, fam. Martial is who we need. Martial is our Jesus. That's who we need at striker. Cavani, apart from that touch, he did nothing else. He did absolutely nothing else. So, I'm giving Cavani also a 5. Who else came on? Oh, Greenwood. I can't even give Greenwood a vote. He was on for so short. But again, actually, Greenwood, he did the little step over against Chilwell, and he squared it in the box on the ground to Cavani. And Cavani, unfortunately, couldn't score from it. It was a very hard chance, good tackle. So it's not his fault, but he did create the chance. So Greenwood, I get a 6.
Yeah, no. Pogba didn't do much. He played in that deep position, didn't offer much really. So I think 5 is a good rating.
So high and so low and so high and so low, and it was so confusing because it's on the edge of the box. So
I don't know what position.
It was very disjointed. Contrary to PSG, where it was clear he was playing on the edge of diamond and using his driving power to play. So, yeah, I guess that's not a positive one. In terms of Cavani, being a Cavani enthusiast, I'm obviously going to talk about the match sharpness. There's no way I'm not going to talk about that.
But no, fair play. I'll give you the excuse this week.
This first game, he clearly didn't start, so he's clearly not. Ole himself said that he said he's not ready against PSG, so he'll get there. And 2, as Clayton said, our shape was horrible. 3, I feel like we weren't moving the ball quick enough, so it wasn't getting to him. Yes, maybe Martial in that sense is better because he can then go be more mobile and make more space for him to get the ball. So I'll give you that. But all I'll say is that with all the context, I think there's more to come.
Yeah. If you're wondering why I was looking down my screen, is because I got a notification that Liverpool are actually down 1-0. So they're losing to Sheffield United. So there we go.
They've been down, yeah.
Salah must score, but they must lose.
I agree. Salah hat-trick, Sheffield 4.
I agree.
I need all the fantasy points I can get.
I don't want to go into Liverpool, and probably there's still time, but then I felt like Ajax when he's in Liverpool. I feel like Ajax went intense enough in that game, and let's just see what happens this game before I talk. But I'll have a lot to say.
And just to touch on the Liverpool game slightly, it was a very controversial VAR decision. Like that gave the pen away that they scored off of. Like it was outside the box by every stretch of the imagination.
When in the Premier League is the VAR decision never comes. I swear, because when I see VAR in Serie A, when I see VAR in Champions League this week, I'm like, wow, why is it so consistent here? When it comes to the Premier League, it's just what's going on in the Premier League? I don't know, because if you are a foreign viewer, I don't know what system, because obviously you have Sky panel stuff, but here in South Africa we have I don't know what it is, but it's like a Premier League show. It's like Michael Owen and them will come on and they have a ex-ref on the panel. So any VAR decision, they ask the ex-ref, and when the ex-ref tries to explain the decisions of the VAR decision, it sounds like he's bloody retarded. You're like, bro, are you listening to yourself? That sounds so stupid. Like he's like, no, but that's why I thought I had ball. That's not right. And I'm like, I just want to smack him. Like, dude, nah.
Yeah.
That's.
He got on the fight last week for saying that there's a bit of subjectivity. And
I would like to see him because obviously we did our show, but I'd love to see what he said about the Maguire and Azpilicueta thing. Why wasn't that checked? That was clear and that was obvious. That was a penalty.
That's ridiculous.
So yeah.
The funny thing is, the hilarious thing is, the one on Rashford where they kind of got it.
Yeah, and they checked that.
They checked that. That was so ridiculous. Oh my gosh.
Well, it's ridiculous. It's simple as that.
Oh, in the Prem, I don't know what it is because when I look at other players.
Firmino.
Fuck.
You scored?
Firmino.
Even Firmino scored.
Oh my
gosh, bloody shit.
You know what? It's gonna snow outside. Firmino scores that. It's gonna snow outside. It's gonna snow outside. I can hear my dad going crazy actually in the lounge. But yeah, we kind of diverted. But let's give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a rating today. Personally, I'm giving Ole. It's one of those games. If you worked, you're like, wow, 8 to 10 out of 10. It worked. If we lost, it's like wow, 0. But this game was like almost as a loss and a draw. It wasn't even like a good draw. It was an awful, awful. I think it was spineless. Just Ollie's a weird one this time. I'm gonna give Ollie 4. Yeah, I'm gonna give Ollie a 4.
Yeah, like to sum everything I said, I don't think it was clearly a horrible plan, but it didn't work at the end of the day. So you can't run away from that. And I do think decision making within the game was a bit weird. So I think it deserves a 5 for this one.
Yeah, I think I might have been a bit
but
harsh.
blame has to
But I
go on
think
the
5
players
is
as
very
well.
fair. Yeah, 5 is
Blame
very
has to go on the players as well. I feel like they didn't
No,
do
yeah,
enough today.
Definitely. I was very
I'll
disappointed.
always be Ollie's harshest critic. I don't think he did well today. I think we were very mismanaged. I feel like we were very confused with what we needed to do. I think our shape was a bit off, especially when the subs came on. We looked such a mess. I had no clue what shape we were playing. Everybody was playing in every single position imaginable, and it just looked like Ollie didn't know what to do. It looked like he was on panic stations, and it only actually cleared up when Greenwood came on. So for that, I don't think Ollie deserves a high rating. I think he's going to get a 3 from me. Today got it very wrong.
Don't kill Clayton Fields, because just like how Clayton feels about Ollie, I feel about Rashford. It's literally an opinion. Please don't take it over the top. There's not, and Clayton's not alone. He's not alone.
Yeah.
Because I'm the host, I try to be more nice. But trust me, if Marcus was hosting, I'm giving Ollie 0s. But I want to give him hope. Because there's so many people around me. Like my Lord, like Marcus, like my uncle. They love Ollie, and when I see the smiles. Yeah, when I see the smiles Ollie puts on some fan bases, I'm like, he deserves a chance. He does. But this,
what gives us hope?
I wanted
what gives hope with this manager? The players play for him, and clearly he can galvanize them. We can lose 6-1, and he can get them back. We clearly know how to perform.
Whatsoever today.
Not today,
yes.
Not today, but there's a number of times you can say that this guy should have lost the dressing room, and he pulled it back. So I feel like the players understand him, and he understands how to get the best of the players, and or to get them on his side. Well, maybe not the best, but to get the players on his side. He knows how to do that. And we finished third. We finished third in the third best team at the end of the season. That has to count for something. And we've clearly seen time and time again, we can go to Man City, we can go to PSG. So with what we've seen over the years, I feel like as much as it's been up and down, we've seen the most progress on this manager. So for that alone, I want to back him until it's clearly not working.
Yeah, again, like I say all the time when I talk about Ollie, I'm not Ollie out by any means, but I will still be a harsh critic of him nonetheless. I'm not an Ollie outer. I'm not screaming.
I swear people are like that. This guy's Ollie out. Straight out.
No, I'm not Ollie out, because I agree fully with what you said. We've got the most progress under this manager. He's done the best that anybody could have asked for with this current squad. He has pushed them to unbelievable lengths. Finishing third's an amazing achievement, but finishing third on the lowest points total in history is disgraceful nonetheless. Finishing third by the scrape of your teeth is disgraceful as well. We scraped a third. It was so close. And again, like you said,
I still stand by it.
Yeah.
I stand by it. If Ollie didn't get Bruno Fernandes, I don't think it would have been. But that's what I'm saying. It's not Ollie's fault. Remember, everything we said today. Remember, tactically, Ollie could have got smacked 6-0. He wasn't the man of the job. But whose his fault? Whose fault is it? Whose fault? I'm going to ask both now. Whose fault is where we are now? Whose fault?
The board. It has to be the board.
Exactly. So I leave you with this, viewers. Remember, whether Ollie is good enough or not good enough. Like I said, you bring Bielsa in this team. You bring Poch in this team. They ain't going to win you the Premier League. They ain't going to win you the Champions League. They might win you a cup. They might be better than Ollie. They might get more points. But nothing in the bigger picture is going to change. And remember the message is always Glazers out, Woodward out. We don't have a director of football for bloody hell. You know what I mean? That just things like that. So if you are new, it's been a long show actually. It's been a freaking long show. It was very quick, but I think the Ollie thing was obviously that's going to happen. It's been a long show. If you are new, please do subscribe, smash the like button, or comment below. There's lots of things said. Comment what you think about Ollie. Comment on what you think about the players. What you could have done differently, what you would have done differently. Where does this leave you with Ollie? Because I think basically this left out where we started. If you were Ollie out, you still Ollie out. If you're Ollie in, you're still Ollie in. If you're still Ollie unsure, you're still Ollie unsure. And I don't think it changes anything. With regards to Chelsea fans, I think you guys should be equally as disappointed. I think Frank Lampard, Fat Frank, is a fraud. I think your striker is a fraud. I think your Cam is a fraud. I think Ziyech's a fraud. I banter your team. I hate you all. Peace out. I'll see you in the next one when we talk about Leipzig before my co-mates kill me for banishing Werner. I'll see you.